Why do you think the Soviet Union began giving some more freedom to their peoples? The people didn't bring that about. It was given from the top down because it's time to solidify the New World Order when the European states come together. Why do you think that there are so many attacks upon our Bill of Rights right now? Because we all have to be on an equal level. We can't have all these freedoms if the rest of the world doesn't.
How does Israel fit in this world pattern?
I don't know what you mean by how they fit. There's certainly a thorn in everybody's sides, but not because they're Jewish, but because they will not settle the Palestinian question. There'll never be peace in the Middle East until they do. This is not a Jewish plot. This is not a communist plot. This is not the Nazis plotting this. This is a secret group of men who've been around for a long time called the Illuminati. They are made up of all different religions, all different political viewpoints. They believe in reason. They believe in solving problems. They believe in controlling the populace if the populace won't control themselves. What's wrong with it? Do you like being a free person? I'm being serious. Who's the person who asked that question? Where at?
I'm saying we don't know what goes on in our government now as it is.
Whose fault is that? I'm not trying to pick on you. I'm trying to get at an answer. Really, I'm not picking on you. But I have to...
I don't know, I'm just questioning.
Okay. The reason that this is happening is because we've all abdicated our roles as responsible citizens in this country. We bought a business. Here's what we did. We bought a business. We hired everybody that's going to work in this business. We stocked the shelves with merchandise, and we went on a permanent vacation. What do you think is going to be left of our business in 20 years when we come back? Nothing's going to be left. Because as soon as all those people that are working for you find out you're gone, everything's going to go, too. Oh, yes. Well, let me get through this because I've got a time limit and I've got to get through all this information. It's important that you know it. The United States was set up so that each individual citizen is a sovereign king. It's the first time in history that's ever happened. A king. Can you imagine that? A king. The government, for the first time in the history of the world, worked for the citizens. We sent representatives to represent our will in our state government and in our federal government. And while they were gone, we took care of their family and their business for them, and we sent them along a little stipend to live on. And they really represented us up until a certain point in time when all of a sudden somebody created professional politicians. And we quit watching what they are doing. How can we tell our politician what we want out of him if we don't even know what the hell he's doing in Washington, what bill he voted on, even what's coming up in front of him, and we never read the bills anyway? H.R. 5210 was introduced as the omnibus drug bill of 1988 to help get drugs off the streets, and everybody said, yeah, support it. But when you read it, inside it, it establishes funds to develop a national identity card. It establishes military installations as mental treatment centers that legalized concentration camps. It authorizes prisons to borrow money, to manufacture products, to sell those products on the open market with slave labor, which will destroy small business. I can go on and on and on. H.R. 4079 is in front of Congress, which will allow the President to create a national emergency for a period of 5 years, which will literally allow him to suspend the Constitution of the United States and declare martial law.
Thanks to Newt Gingrich.
That's right.
Could you explain that bill bill that you had,
That's it.
that's it.
Yes. So what I'm saying is, this is our government, our country, and we're going to lose it if we don't get smart real quick. And we're going to find ourselves a part of a one-world totalitarian socialist state merged with the Soviet Union and the other countries of the world in a cashless economic system. Bankers already know it. That's my message to you. My message is to you that all of this extraterrestrial stuff may be phony. I may have been used. They may have passed me all this kind of stuff. And for years I believed it was real, and now I have doubts, real doubts. Now I'm telling you, I don't know if extraterrestrials are real or not, but there's no doubt in the world that the technology is real. And I've shown you documentation after documentation after documentation. And there's more in my book. Much more. So much, in fact, that that book is probably going to cause me a hell of a lot of trouble. But it's worth it if we can save our country. Next slide. There's the membership in the media. The only one that's relatively free is Cable News Network. Daniel Shore is the only member. And that might be why you see a little bit more on CNN than you see in any other network or station in this country. Next. But you only see it when Daniel Shore is off that day. Military. They have been teaching interdependence, one world order, one world government is the solution to war in the Naval Academy, the Military Academy at West Point, and the War College since the end of World War II.
I'm a little confused. I thought the war was one of the things they were trying to promote, solve conflict.
No, war has traditionally been used to solve the problems. They want to bring about a one-world government that will eliminate war altogether, but they have to have a replacement for war. The replacement would be a tremendously wasteful space program to repel an enemy from outer space that may or may not exist. What we got to do is find out what the truth is. How would that reduce the population? Next slide, please. Next. Next.
Is Colin Powell on that list?
Next. Next. These are the letters I get back from Congress. Thank you. Next. Thank you. Next. Thank you. Next. Thank you. Next. And from Alan Cranston. Thank you for your letter expressing your views on foreign policy. And he goes on to tell me what all he's done in the 100th Congress and what he's going to do in the 101st Congress. Next. Thank you. Screw you, Alan Cranston. Next. Out of 500 and I forget how many letters, I sent a letter to every senator, every congressman. Those were the only replies that I ever got. Ever. I sent one to the president. I sent one to the vice president. I sent one to the attorney general and each of the Supreme Court justices. I never received replies from any of them. This is one reason why I never received replies from congressmen. This is a person who is a staff member of a congressman on Capitol Hill. She's actually the office manager. She says she sympathizes with everything that I sent, but the reason that the congressman isn't going to answer my letter, my inquiries, is that she threw it all in the trash can. Next. This is George Bush and the secret team. Next. Another reason for a new world order is if extraterrestrials are real, who speaks for planet Earth?